to pick all the next maps where if you've done your studies, you've done your homework, you can get an advantage. Of course, you don't want to lose to get that advantage, but let's get ready to kick off this second quarterfinal between LGD and Bubble Burster Gaming. I'm going to avoid any bursting puns as much as I can. Heurix will have to hit me on the head if I do, but the Orisa Diva coming out the gates and with the Mei, and of course, very fitting for this cold map.
Well, actually, it's going to be, interesting enough, it's going to be that disruption comp. Jihoon actually playing the Hammond, despite maybe the Orisa would have been something that we would have expected, but this is BBG playing what BBG is strong at, the Hammond.
This is going to be tough. You have the Orisa shield already set up for LGD. All they have to do is play their Mei Reaper close range, and it's up to Bubble Burster Gaming, Jihoon, to just bowl through them. He's actually going for a pile driver instead, now trapped in there. He's going to be frozen. So much damage going in, but so much healing helping Jihoon survive. But meanwhile, while all that focus was onto Jihoon, you had the rest of BBG surround LGD, get those kills, and actually claim the point. It was actually never captured.
Sombra coming out from Wanli here as well to match Climax. Still something that they can use to deal with Jihoon as well as Crazy. So not necessarily having to rely on the Mei. Could shut down as well Tuba on the Doomfist.
Yeah, you have this EMP. Ooh, it's juicy and it's at the weight, but you don't want to do it. Too small of a room. Waiting for the follow-up from the rest of the team. Now there's the binds. EMP, they're trapped all in it. They take a lot of damage, but Coalescence comes out. Melon, no shield for LGD as they were looking to use that Coalescence as heal pressure, as damage pressure to lead their way towards that high ground, but already falling back.
Yeah, now Wanli, you can see him trying to work his way around just like Climax is as well. Climax already expended his EMP, but Tuba hacked, now very kind of caught out of position, but he's able to get out for now.
Now you have a little bit of a hack from behind, spotted that out as LGD. They're gonna thrive in close range, having this Reaper teleporting up to go after the supports. That Ana's a free kill. And now LGD can work themselves towards the point, actually going after all the supports. There is a great Reaper from Kaneki, as you gotta say it in a weeb way for him to be awesome. But LGD, with that final Death Blossom, as I hyped him up, gets the 2K and the team wipe, and LGD take back the point.
And now you can see BBG setting up, getting into position, and already Wanli gonna get exposed and forced to pull out, but EMP at the ready for the Sombra player, looking to throw this out. Kaneki should be able to follow up on top of it, but they're really looking to try to take out Tuba and Jihoon primarily in this composition.
I thought Jihoon was gonna pile drive off the map. I got a little concerned there, but high ground control for LGD, looking for the EMP, but also want to win this fight without it. Climax already translocating out. BGG, or BBG, there we go. Looking for the point of entry. It's going to be sealed off. Jihoon using those mines. EMP not only counters the mines, but counters BBG, who are trying to follow up with it. Again, Kaneki so dangerous close range. And BBG now have to fall back.
So LGD stabilizing for the time being, but not having very much resources to play around with. BBG, on the other hand, they're going to have the EMP, A and B, pretty close to having that Coalescence. I know it's 40% off, but that's just how Coalescence works. You're going to have that available very soon.
Well, about to even up the score here is LGD. And they're staggering their ultimates quite well. Now you have barrier self-destruct, but they've got to hold that barrier for the EMP. Keep this guy hidden. But it's very much a slow battle as LGD holding onto the high ground. Now have to keep their Reaper healed up. As BBG kind of waiting for this EMP, but Climax keeps having to translocate out.
Now you see the sound barrier available for Hochan, and they're going to need that against the EMP from Climax. BBG not going to have that availability of a defensive ultimate to play around with, and they're going to need one, especially with Kaneki. He's going to have that Death Blossom dropping in from that high ground, so Crazy's going to have a tough job ahead of him trying to dispatch Kaneki in this next fight.
If Climax not finding the opportunity in the last fight, it has to happen here. 96+%. The free hack goes on the Zihi, but again, so much high ground control by LGD. Bubble Burster eating a lot of free damage. EMP self-destruct from BBG onto the point as Kaneki tries to deny the remake. Not gonna happen. Just trying to stabilize here is LGD, who have their own EMP. They have Coalescence in the back. BBG are losing opportunities. They had the ultimates, but now they're all hacked. Just trying to keep that overtime going. Secret's gonna walk into a mine. One last Death Blossom sends BBG packing. but they're actually, it's still winnable, but they can't touch the point. 100 to 69 will go to LGD.
Yeah, so that cancels things out right then and there. And it looks like here we're going to see them moving on into Shrine at the moment. And it looks, I mean, LGD I think would be really smart here to make sure that they maintain this frontline pressure. Jihoon right now on this Hammond that he's been consistently playing at the moment. You have to maintain that against him. Otherwise, he's going to pop off just like we saw him in that neutral fight at the beginning of that last map.
But, I mean, the Hammond, I think, was a good thought using the mines to zone out the area, but they were never able to get LGD comfortably off. It was more of a distraction tool than anything. Out the gates, Orisa and Jihoon still loving his Hammond.
Yeah, so he's going to pull that out yet again, and it's the Mei Reaper coming out. This is even just an even better map now for this Mei Reaper setup. They could just take control point and isolate anybody that tries to come in for BBG to create space.
Now you already give LGD point control with an Orisa shield, with a Reaper and Mei. It's a lot of CC to go up against BBG, who have a McCree and Doomfist, so all about displacing and stunning, following up and saving Jihoon, who's frozen, and there is going to cost BBG their main tank. And now they have no one that can really lead this charge. Crazies, especially on this D.Va, doesn't have as much Matrix. Even BBG trying to surround this point, not able to thrive without their tanks. So they'll give up that first control to LGD.
And LGD coming back out of spawn. You can see Wanli working his way over, but for the time being, BBG, they want to stabilize quickly and re-engage as fast as they possibly can before LGD can set back up. You see that Biotic actually exposing LGD just a tad. Banana Boost available now from both sides. Realistically, A&B is going to have his available very soon.
You give this to Kaneki, you make him the strongest Reaper there ever was. But Climax coming from behind with a stun and now the Deadeye. The shield is in place unless something crazy happens. Oh, and they actually even gave the nano to Kaneki, but he still dies, not able to get that Death Blossom off. It's a great pile drive from Jihoon. Now he can use the mines to start trying to regain control for BBG. They have all the kills, now they can just focus on the objective.
So there's the flip there, and Tuba on this Doomfist, making room. However, still having to deal with the Mei is going to be a tough task for him, even on this Doomfist, despite his performance already on this character. It's just they're gonna have to find some way to make that continue. Again, LGD trying to play that isolation game as best as they possibly can, and now dropping in from the high ground. LGD looking to try to find that door to kind of open up this point, and Wanli gonna provide that to them with the wall.
Well, sleeping behind the lines, actually the mines drop right on top of Bubble Burster Gaming, stopping them from following up, at least for the moment. Without their Ana, you only have 2 supports. LGD, not a ton of healing here. This is where BBG take advantage, stop them from coming in. A Blizzard is still committed. LGD don't have a Reaper, not as much damage. Nice reaction to the self-destruct. Control still for BBG. Orisa getting bopped around, barely alive. Self-destruct to make the space for LGD, as now they're looking to regain, but BBG just trying to stall it out as much as they can.
Yeah, LGD need to get this flip quickly, and they ideally don't want to utilize too much more of what they've got available to them. Try to hold on to this Death Blossom if they can hold it, and they will be able to, it looks like. Well, never mind. Kaneki's going to go for it. Here's the issue,
making
though.
This game an anime, damn! I mean, he's got the Lucio. He's just the scariest guy going after BBG's backline. So LGD will be able to even up the score, although they had to use a few ultimates to make it happen.
Yeah, I think LGD really would have liked to have held on to that Death Blossom as a possible win condition to just freeze out Crazies and then go for the Death Blossom. 3 kills for them. They had already really won that fight, but I think they just wanted that flip a little bit sooner.
And now you have to just deny Tuba any sort of entry, or you freeze Jihoon, who has gone for a few times doing this. At least there's a lot of ult charge to your supports, but it's twice in a row now. He's gone in and gotten killed, and Crazies not able to matrix all that damage that was going into Jihoon. So without a front line, BBG have to get out. They have one last chance to push.
So LGD with a slight advantage in this as well. They're going to have that Blizzard coming up pretty soon. And on top of that, they have the defensive ults to keep them alive. They're all low. They're forced to use the sound barrier.
was almost a really cool pile drive into Meteor Strike, and Nano given to Jihoon. The guy can't survive, even trying to pull everyone off the point. LGD, 99% have won the first round. Looking to close out the year. Busan, Ballburster Gaming Crazies using that self-destruct. The shield not in place at the right spot, so Hoyo-chan drops for LGD, and now the rest. Even the Blizzard was committed for LGD to retake. But it was the better Deadeye from Climax that regains the fight for BBG.
So they're looking to hold on now. They do have the sound barrier coming up. LGD, they've got one more shot, and they have to do it slowly, incrementally. Melon, they're trying to get him into position, utilizing line of sight so that they don't have to use that shield cooldown early, but there is a big biotic grenade landed in there from A and B, and LGD have to wait that one out.
Tuba just like noped out of there too. He was like, oh, biotic, I could punch the hell out of this, but being very cautious, knows that this is last fight territory. Barrier, early advantage for BBG. Now trying to break down the shield of LGD. They've already found Long Lee. Now Kaneki has to be next on the list. Death Blossom, that's the old school fan play. 3K, LGD taking back the fight in their hands. It got close. BBG only have a Hammond to keep this overtime going, and that is quick and gone just like this round. 100-99, LGD take map 1.
So LGD sporting that Owl meta May Reaper in full control here. 2-0 start for LGD, a big start for them against a matchup that has some really solid DPS players.
Well, bringing back our expert analyst Nekkra, although maybe we were looking for Kadalis, Wan Lee and Kaneki look really good together.
Yeah, you could say that tenfold and I would still be excited about it. But we saw so many different things. I feel like a constant theme of Nepal was just a consistent rotation of team compositions coming out from both of sides of the field there. But a constant flavor there for Bubble Burster Gaming was just trying to stick to what they know. And I don't think that quite worked out because of how well Wan Lee and Kaneki were working together on that DPS duo to make sure that Jihoon couldn't get value. We saw some good plays from Jihoon on the Wrecking Ball, but I think you might got to switch it up a little bit here as we move on to some more maps with some movable components to them.
Yeah, I think going forward, Jihoon, they really have to start considering putting him on the Orisa. And I know that's a worry because we've pretty much only seen him on the Hammond like all season long, and he looks so solid on the Hammond, but you have to slow that tempo down. You have to create opportunities when you know Climax is on the board and Kadalis is not, especially as you get away from control. That's a win condition. Take advantage of that. Play the Orisa despite certainly wanting to play the Hammond instead.
And you could make like a 3-hour-long movie, like Marvel, Lord of the Rings style long reel of just these Death Blossoms. Yeah. Amazing play so far from LGD. They're up 1-0. We're going to send it to a quick break, and when we get back, it will be assault. So it's a 1-0 start for LGD. Over Bubble Burster Gaming. Oh, say that 10 times fast. But what was maybe rather fast is, I mean, kind of Bubble Burster Gaming still running the Hammond. We said that was an issue, but I think it's just LGD doing their homework. I think they have the right composition for their opposition. Ooh, that rhymed kind of.
Nice, you're a rapper. So LGD, yeah, I think going into this matchup, everybody expecting to see Kadalis will be surprised that he's not really in the mix here today. I would expect that to actually continue throughout this series. I think certain maps where you expect to be able to take that Widow v Widow matchup a little bit more seriously, or maybe put Kadalis on something like Hanzo, which we've of course expect him to see as well. Maybe you pull him in, but I think Wan Lee and Kaneki as well, they just have all that synergy that they built up over the course of, several months of playing together. LGD looks solid with them together. Kadalis was definitely an improvement in the department of having a Widow, but in this matchup, going Widow v Widow against a player like Climax, that's a dice roll. That's a gamble. And that's saying that even with Kadalis looking as good as he looks, you still don't want to take that risk when you have other options available to you in this 2-2-2.
And especially, do you want to play Widow against a Hammond too? Like, that's also super annoying to go up against, because there's really nothing you could do against a Hammond who's going to pile drive in your face. So maybe not that. But we are going into Volskaya as our map 2. This is Bubble Burster's choice. So going into a sniper map, maybe we might see a substitution, Kadalis coming in, or we could just not see double sniper. We'll see what we get when we open the present, which will be map 2. Yeah,
and another thing to take note of here as well is that on these types of maps here, Hammond is going to be hard to pull off. I mean, typically speaking, BBG has kind of relied on Crazies to actually play the Sombra. They play the triple DPS, and that has kind of enabled Jihoon to actually play the Hammond these situations. Well, they can't do that anymore. Crazies, he's locked to the off-tank role now, so he does have to play some tank in some capacity. So I think here, what BBG wants to do is actually just completely shift focus. I mean, instead of that high-tempo offense that we're used to seeing them play with, really kind of play into the fact that Climax doesn't have that one-to-one matchup that LGD could provide but hasn't yet, and play slower. Provide the Orisa, play the Diva as well. We haven't seen that much from Crazies, but we have seen the Hog. That hasn't been as great, I think, over the course of the season. So
but there's a Hog right there. And look, Climax on the Widow. But you got Tuba, so an offensive Mei this time. Feels like has some issues against a high ground defensive setup, Mei versus Mei, but then it's Widow versus Hanzo. Kind of a cool start from Climax, equally from both sides. Defense is maybe a little bit of a longer walk, halt and hook. Not connecting, LGD already ditching that high ground. But also, have to work around isolation or using that Mei wall to also slow things down, make sure the offense can't go in. And there's the Orisa already divided from the rest. A good immortality field, I believe, was placed to make sure he stayed alive. And now Bubble Burster Gaming, already an amp matrix, yeah, that's what it's called, an amp matrix. Extra shield break, extra damage. They already zoned LGD off the point and gotten their first tick.
Still BBG, they haven't really solidified that halt hook yet, and there's the isolation now onto Jihoon, but he's staying alive, and there finally is that hook, and BBG looking to solidify these kills, finally looking like they're going to be able to pull it off.
Oh, this is just practice range for Climax as soon as LGD lost space control, and they're still getting staggered too. Actually, Wanli and Kaneki kind of getting a few things, so this will slow down the snowball of Bubble Burster Gaming. But now LGD also don't want to get picked too much as they run back to point B, that's where the objective is.
So now we see LGD pulling back. I mean, they won the fight, but not early enough. So
that could have almost been really bad though.
Yeah, that really could have been. If Bubble Burster was able to win that, actually get those last couple of kills, if Tuba was just like an all-star there, that would have been a free point B. You would have seen LGD coming off of that. But now, Climax finding another way in, getting that opening pick here, taking the angle, and then now you see again just that pressure onto the shield, opening things up for Climax.
And this is the best defensive position to avoid any sort of LOS from snipers. Blizzard trapping the offense, even the wall behind them, so they can't even escape. So no snowball here. BBG will reset.
LGD looking to get aggressive here, just as they did on point A, to try to see if they could get a little bit more, but Climax is not letting it happen. Once again, finding Kaneki, but they're going to need more than that here. I mean, BBG, they need to get that opening pick. They need to start getting these halt hooks. We've seen, but BBG actually really kind of struggling to get those going for themselves. LGD, we've seen Rookie actually eating with the defense matrix those halts that are coming out from Jihoon. So it has kind of put a wrench in the plans of BBG, but despite that, they're looking for those picks. They need to find them.
The halt and the hook might be the best one. I mean, LGD keep playing towards the right side, which is really smart. There's the Dragon trying to catch that Orisa. He kind of walks back into it, gets dangerously low. That first wall from the defense. BBG throwing that Blizzard in. They're trying to escape it. Might have caught one, but there's a Transcendence over from the right side. It's pretty clutch from Secret, keeping his team healed up. Equally from BBG, who now set up on point B. Self-destruct. In the back, It's a 4K. Are you kidding me? Rookie, more like veteran. BBG, not the fight for them either.
And that all comes down to just knowing when that immortality field is available, and when it's down. And when it is down, you can just unleash everything. And it only took a self-destruct here to finish that one off. Rookie coming up big for them. Now Bubble Burster Gaming backed up yet again with nothing to show for it. They do have the whole hog available. Supercharger will come up pretty shortly for them, but defensively, LGD very much ahead. They have the Blizzard.
There's Wanli, the Blizzard. This is quite an aggressive defense, like playing that far up. Ugh. All right. Just cleaning things up. Nothing more to say about that.
Yeah, this is really aggressive here from LGD too, playing this far forward, because if BBG actually surrounds them, if they play this correctly here, they can actually get those picks, force LGD back, and then just kind of expose LGD on the return back to point. But now LGD realizing this, they fall back, so smart of them to get back there. Now 2:43 remaining on this clock here for BBG to start pushing forward. We do see them coming online with the Dragon Strike pretty shortly here. Climax on this Hanzo pick, putting in the shield pressure.
Oh, first Dragon first, though, right into the doorway. And he even shut the door on him, too. And Crazy's like, I'm coming in whether you like it or not. Get this wall out of my way, Tuba. All right, let me zone them off. Okay, Bubble Burster have their own Dragon. A good first start. You don't have any more immortality now. We've both been struggling with that name today. But, oh, now you're taking care of the Orisa. There is no shield for the defense. BBG, this has to be the fight that they win.
They need to make sure that they're able to get these stallers quickly. Otherwise, this could drag on for a long time here. Luckily, though, BBG, fortunately for them, they do have that Transcendence to fall back on if they need it.
Blizzard on the field, zoning off any reinforcements from LGD, who just have to walk in and get frozen and just deal with it. 99.4%, there we have it. BBG will finish the map.
Finally able to get the job done. LGD, really solid performance from them defensively on point B, where we saw them actually playing fairly aggressively, looking very confident in their play, and despite not having Kadalis in the lineup as well, still looking solid. Unfortunately for them, BBG, they've got so much damage that you have to deal with from all these different angles. Climax, especially on the Hanzo, is something that they need to keep an eye on.
I would just like to see the whole hog be used for not breaking Mei walls and more breaking Orisa shields and actually being on the point. But despite that, they still were able to not only break the shield, freeze everyone with the blizzard. They had other winning conditions. You just have to be careful with maybe not getting too angry and just whole hogging into a blizzard or into a Mei wall.
Yeah, I mean, BBG, it's interesting to see them actually going for that halt hook combination, because we've seen this from them only a couple of times over the course of the season, and it hasn't really shined. I mean, this has been something that they haven't really shown out with. They've really, again, relied on Crazies actually to be playing on the Sombra, so I would have expected them to just kind of play slower, really adjust their tempo for this matchup, and try to give as much time for Climax to make big plays, and that incorporates involving the Diva, right? But going for the halt hook, they haven't really collectively gotten things together. Their synergy isn't quite there yet, but over the course of this matchup, we could see that adjust. We could see Jihoon and Crazies actually come up big with some of those picks.
And still for a sniper map, you know, not substituting Kadalis in, you got to worry about if Climax pops off a little too much on BBG. That could be a real issue they have to deal with. Kaneki will be the one keeping him at bay on the Hanzo. But out the gates, LGD, Hanzo Mei. We've seen a lot of this in Overwatch League. And now with the Orisa and the Diva, with a lot of shield mitigation, a lot more safety behind this.
Yeah, pure shield pressure here for LGD, especially as Kaneki finds Climax. That's a huge pick. They don't have a Mercy, no res, so Climax is out.
Okay, now you have the shield on. Mei wall already used, and a better Mei wall actually comes from LGD. It closes off the supports. Now they're trying to restabilize here. They're healed up. But now they have no shield to really stand behind. That's already a first take for LGD. Immortality nice and hidden behind some barrels. And then they keep trapping them with the Mei wall. They can't even leave. It might be the third take and they're still stuck contesting. Immortality, Amplification Matrix. This is BBG's chance to really fight back. They also have to deal with Kaneki on their backline. BBG, it's going to be so hard for them to retake.
Looks like LGD is in full control right now. Really good walls from Wan Lee has allowed this to happen, and finally they're able to find it. Kaneki gonna have a little bit of a walk as he did die trying to get flank control early there, but it pulled BBG over. Tuba and Crazies both went over there to deal with them, and that meant that the front line was very exposed for BBG, and now with yet another late pick, NB gonna be up very quickly due to those changes that we get on this map type here of Assault. But 5:30 on the clock, and LGD with everything available that they could possibly want to push into B with.
Yeah, it's like, name your poison, pick your poison. All right, Climax is gonna dome Wan Lee. Okay, well, wait a second before that. Now he's gonna take a taxi over into on top of their heads. Not gonna stay on that for too long. But LGD, Halt Dragon, I mean, that's an option. Blizzard, self-destruct maybe. Rookie kind of popped off last round. I'm excited to see how LGD hold this, or how they push this.
Yeah, I think Climax recognizes that this kind of warfare where you're seeing the matchup of trying to deal with that shield trade. He wants to instead eliminate that from the mix, eliminate the 50-50, the gamble, and really play into those off angles as best as they possibly can.
I've never seen the Volskaya Uber over to the left side, but hey, 5 stars, we'll take it. Gets them over to this side. BBG zoning themselves towards the right, walking to the dragon, halt hook, transcendence, you know, just in case. But Blizzard on the field now for the defense, and a dragon towards the right side. LGD are pretty split off, and they're pretty low on health pools. They don't have an Orisa shield. So although LGD used a ton this fight, they still have a few kills, but without really a front line, it's going to be tough for them to retake, I think.
Well, they're hanging in there for the time being. Bubble Burster at the moment backed off, and you can see the wall coming down again. Wanli has just been so good with these.
Oh, he's going to close off the main doorway where the supports are. And now that Melon's back on the Hammond, he's already ready to help the rest of the team get the two more ticks to go. But Climax, you always have to be worried on where this guy is. Now he's in your backline. The Mei is gonna deal with him. He's able to halt out of that, as LGD have invested so many members just to deal with that Hanzo. Meanwhile, LGD still getting kills. They don't have a mech. And this feels really losable for LGD, but they're not giving up any momentum. But BBG haven't given up any objective time.
Yeah, BBG holding down that corner. Jihoon making sure that they have someone that's nestled into there with the shield in the front where nobody can press him. And if anybody does, he can actually probably win a duel against anybody that does try to take him on in the 1v1 in that corner. So LGD, they were able to get one tick, almost two. Just about 15% off of that second tick, but not close enough. And due to that, they're going to have to rely on this next series of ultimates here, rotating them now. Dragon Strike available. They didn't manage to get anything with the Halt Dragon earlier. Really need to come up with something big here. Have the Blizzard as well for Wanli.
A few from LGD got isolated from that Mei wall. They use their own Mei wall to just kind of protect themselves, as they're going to take a left side approach again. The Blizzard from Wanli. And you don't have, well, you have an Amp Matrix for the extra healing. You can see he's already setting up into the back. Climax with the Dragon, ready to zone off the right side. He throws it in. And no halt follow-up. Immortality is exchanged as the Dragon comes right through the mid, trying to catch some of BBG off guard. Didn't do much, but now Blizzard. That's plan B for LGD. They use Transcendence, not able to save Wanli. And equal Blizzard from Tuba did a way better job of catching LGD, who were running away. Now down to the final 2 minutes for LGD, and they kind of stay in a little too long, but I think this is going to be a reset.
I like how stable BBG is looking here. I mean, the whole name of the game with this roster has really been just buy time, enable Tuba, and enable Climax in particular. They did it before with just pure disruption over the course of the entire regular season. Now they're swapping it up. This is a big adaptation that they're making here, really slowing things down, playing the Orisa, playing the Diva, making sure that these players, these two guys from Korea, are able to show out and shine in this matchup.
Shining bright like a diamond is indeed the snipers from BBG. And he's getting his workout of the day. I could only do about 2 of those before I got tired. But still, picking off LGD is costing them sweet, sweet time. And Kaneki is just gonna take the fight in his own hands before he gets out.
Now Climax again on this high ground control, taking these off angles, making sure that he can get a little bit of ult charge, needs to get this Dragon Strike available. If BBG want to ward off LGD one more time, you can see this comp swap. Melon actually, interestingly, on this Hammond, could be shut down by Tuba as he enters in.
Last minute, or BBG will tie up the series. This was their choice of map. Clearly feeling very comfortable. LGD now ready to dive in. There is the Hammond, the walls to zone some people off. It's a good start. You're taking care of some of the supports of the defense, but Kaneki and Wanli, no DPS left for LGD. You can only hope for one explosive rookie self-destruct, and it's over a roof. BBG will hold on.
Yeah, LGD, they're finding kills, but if they're not pulling out of this fight quickly, they won't have another shot. And BBG absolutely want this, especially as they're extending this fight ever further, and LGD going to be desperate to get Hoyochan back over to this fight. He only has 9 seconds to cross that distance, and then they dive in. How are they even going to get there without losing someone in the process?
Yeah, Kaneki's like, I got this, guys. I got to teleport, but I'm about to die. There's the overtime dwindling away. Will BBG even up the series? Self-destruct dragon, so many ultimates. It only finds one, actually 2 down for LGD, make it 3. And Malin frozen, he can't even run in any direction. And BBG hold point B, and they will tie the series.
Loving that adaptation, BBG showing that they have what basically they need to be able to pull something out in this matchup against LGD, slow things down, and they did a good job of that right there.
Well, I'll bring back our expert analyst, Nekkra. We have a tie game. What did you think worked out so well for Bubble Burster Gaming?
Taking advantage of opportunities. It really looked like LGD was bloodhounding for some of those minute openings to be able to take advantage of. You got the Wanli wall, the rookie 4K bomb, and they were able to get teamfight wins off of the back of that. But I think BBG just did it better. They really capitalized on the damage amplification from Orissa's bongos, Batiste's amplification matrix, and they just overpowered what LGD was able to bring to the table.
Yeah, I think what I'm really liking from LGD specifically has actually been Wanli on the Mei. I think his walls have looked spectacular, even over Tuba, who I think has just been disgusting with the right clicks. So certainly there are positives and negatives that I think either side could take advantage of. But the walls, I think, are a huge win condition from Wanli.
Yeah, the way he was able to zone everyone off on point A, I think he was a big reason LGD took point A so easily, but it is still a tie game. We have more maps to go, including Hybrid, coming right up. See you soon. Well, welcome back, everybody. BBG have tied up the series back on Volskaya, so that means technically LGD get to pick the next map, and they have chosen to bring us to Hollywood.
Yeah, interesting map choice for LGD here, and I'd be interested to see if we actually get some Ashe play in this matchup. I mean, something that we've seen, especially in this region recently, is quite a bit of Ashe play specifically on Hollywood. I mean, the linear kind of layout to this map, specifically on those first couple of points, really lends to Ashe's ability to push out that pressure, especially against teams that really like playing the hog. You're not able to deal with the dynamite, but here we have Kaneki coming out, a sub actually coming in. Kadalis is now in the mix for LGD, and that definitely makes us believe that we're seeing probably hit scan, but maybe they just keep Kadalis on the Hanzo.
I've kind of beaten this Widow thing to death, probably, but maybe I would have expected that substitution to come in for Volskaya. I mean, we've already talked about Wanli being pretty sick at the Mei, but he's coming in for Kaneki, so kind of that sniper role will be interchanged, but Wanli's still in the picture for the Mei coming up on Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm really excited actually to see this. And again, coming from the perspective of LGD, I would wonder whether or not you even want to go for that gamble of the Widow duel, because all it takes is one death and BBG wins a fight. So still, I think avoiding that. Yeah, exactly. There's so many things, there's so many dynamics at play when you do try to incorporate that BBG, they don't have to adjust their lineup to deal with anything, right? They can just put Climax on Widow, they can put Climax on Hanzo, they can put... These guys are so malleable that it becomes hard to deal with, whereas LGD, if you're going with Kadalis, you're all-inning on snipers more than likely. So really, I think LGD playing this really thinks that they're going to be confident enough to pull out this hit scan player of Kadalis and shine in this map here to turn this around.
We already said Hollywood up, and it's a tie game. So who can really take a lead here? This is important not only to advance to the semifinals, but there is only one gauntlet spot for China. Thank or blame whoever you need, but that means you have to win the whole thing to go to Gauntlet. So it's a far journey for both of these teams. And I know that BBG, you know, although they're in third place, they came in third place in the regular season, going up against a big name like LGD. It's the same story as our last series, where the 2-2-2 has forced change into teams that some have adapted and some have not.
Yeah, we get that Papa bless up to T1W, now T1W GZA, for saving us in the region and gifting us the slot in Gauntlet, where LG Huya was supposed to be able to pull that off, but unfortunately we're just unable and really struggled in that tournament. So now it's all about that one slot as opposed to the two that China, I think, thought that they were going to get for Gauntlet. Unfortunately, not the case for them. But now we'll see them approach here in this matchup here and now, and this means everything. Getting the lead right now will put you on match point. And if you can convert Escort, you take the win, you move on into the semifinals.
Kyle just like noped his head, but you'll still get hooked even when looking away, fun fact. But LGD kind of doing a rotation towards that high ground. again, you have May on the attack. Looking for isolation, but they got the halt hook and the best character too. No shield for the attack. No fortify ready to even block against that. Seems LGD, even with a sniper down, more halt hooks going in for Crazies who's popping off. And even the snipers are having a ton of fun. So LGD won't be their fight for them now.
Yeah, and Crazy's actually looking pretty solid alongside Jihoon on this pick as well. And this is what we were looking for, you know? Seeing them really kind of step things up, look to build synergy throughout this matchup. I mean, certainly we imagine that they've been working on this in scrims over the last couple of weeks, but now being able to show that here in a competitive match, certainly have to kind of shake off some of that rust, get Crazy into the form that we're used to seeing him in on Sombra, here on the Roadhog instead.
Again, are you sticking to that high ground? And also have to make sure you have that fortify ready for any hooks, which have been solid so far. Halt Dragon, Bubble Burster Gaming looking for actually a halt hook, and well, the Dragon stops any sort of follow-up from LGD. Immortality or not, didn't connect to help save Rookie. So now without that, LGD with at least only losing one, they still have to wait.
And now BBG in full control of this corner here. You can see LGD kind of split at the moment, but Bubble Burster unable to really kind of pressure that pocket there on the right, going into that alleyway. But you can see Climax taking this angle in this dark room here on the side, and Kadalis is really looking to try to pressure him out, force Climax to actually completely waste his infrasight and rotate away.
Well, half the time bank already gone. Halt, but no Dragon, not ready yet. Oh, and hooking Melon again. That's tough. Not having that fortify, and you have Rookie that could maybe go for a Matrix, or even you can throw the immortality forward to prevent that from happening. But it's been twice now for LGD having that mistake.
So now we'll see if they can hang in there. They're using the self-destruct just to kind of push everybody off from BBG, make sure that they can't take that front area of the control point. And now investment here coming in from Secret. Transcendence is out.
Yeah, you don't have one lead. Transcendence will be able to keep everyone up, but Bubble Burster Gaming playing out of line of sight, and you can see that that D.Va Rookie is about to lose Meg. Again, not giving LGD any advantage at all. The last minute of the game, LGD, even with ults, haven't had first pick.
Whole hog available for Crazies now. So when they do go for that halt hook, they can immediately transition, pivot into full shield break, open things up for Tuba and Climax, and they're going to need that here. LGD over on the side, again in that back alley, as they're rotating everybody over to get into position so that they can start pressing forward, but have to make sure that they're watching out for that whole hog.
Even when they get halted, they still land hooks.
Oh, Secret on the flank!
Oh, but still, whole hog. Pressuring everyone back. Last 30 seconds, you're still getting Melon! Oh, but the counter hook! It's even bigger. Rookie just saved them. And now they just have to break down the Sir shield, and in the last seconds, LGD will get the point.
Some will say Rookie, I will say Secret. That flank was so solid, being able to shut down the Ana. BBG just had no sustain at that point, really opened things up for LGD, and Secret continued on that flank as well. We saw him just dishing out that pressure, and the Discords were free because he didn't have to worry about that shield being up to block them. So good sight lines available to that Zenyatta player. And now LGD sending this payload forward as BBG already in position here to start contesting at the archway.
There's some shield break at the ready. Oh, Dragons mixing colors a little bit, but LGD still not in a firm position onto this cart. You have Nano at the ready, but this fight, it's all been Bubble Burster Gaming.
So LGD now with not too much time at all remaining, and BBG continuing to just relentlessly dish out that pressure, making sure that LGD has no ability to collate, just kind of group back up and push back in. So BBG hanging in there defensively, looking solid. Possibly like they have a good choice here on Hollywood to be able to turn this one around and get control of this matchup once again.
Yeah, Widow v Widow now with Kadalis back on that. Still, you got the Blizzard play. Now you have Amplification Matrix looking for those first picks, and hooks exchange. BBG giving up a bit of space. Wanli gets ready with the Blizzard. That's a faraway wall. Making sure they can't escape. There's a Blizzard right in their face. Bubble Burster Gaming don't have any support ults that they want to go for as LGD lead the way with the Transcendence. The wall right behind the tanks, make sure they can't run too far. Now the nano given to the Roadhog, but it's the supports from the defense that are really shining bright. It's Climax with 2 stopping this fight, but at least BBG had to use a lot of ultimates for that.
Yeah, BBG are okay with that too. I mean, they have positional advantage, so kind of equalizing an ult economy, that's fine, especially for them to be able to turn that fight around. I mean, we saw initially there's the Blizzard and the Transcendence both invested from LGD, so they had to really kind of hit hard to be able to turn that around and get that counterattack going.
And a good immortality actually saved Jihoon. And oh, another hook goes through. Crazy's out. This is LGD, how they can actually start getting some momentum. It's taken them several fights to get any meters. And now, the last couple seconds, they have Supercharger, they have a damage advantage coming around this corner. They need to maximize this as much as they can if they want to make this map winnable. Is Bubble Burster Gaming waiting for their cooldowns, dodging, dip diving, dodging away from the halt hooks. Supercharger, couple missed hooks from Crazies. Now LGD, now Amp Matrix, they have all the damage in the world, and Bubble Burster Gaming just trying to hide, but they can't hide for too long. They need to contest too.
Well, LGD hanging in there now in OT, need to win this fight. Looking solid at the moment as OT is ticking down. They have control, and the whole hog's out as well.
4K! The Diva, yeah, whatever, but a whole hog 3, 4K? That guy's really shining for LGD.
Yeah, and LGD can now claim their victory prize here as well. Those staggered kills coming out. BBG gonna be looking to group back up here again, and LGD definitely leading on the fact that they have the Blizzard available for them here. Juan Lee has been so solid with the walls throughout this series. And if he could get a good one here, LGD, I mean, they were going to rely on this. Their last Blizzard was not great. They could not convert kills in it, even with their Zenyatta keeping them very safe with the Transcendence as well.
Oh, if you see that rocket up into the sky, that's Melon fortifying during halt, so it sends them right back up. And there's a very valuable Blizzard you're talking about from Juan Lee, throwing it far enough into Bubble Burster Gaming, catching most. Oh, if that second icicle hit too, that would have been flashy. Now as LGD, although it was down to the wire at the start, now they're looking down into this parking lot, and Bubble Burster Gaming have to touch.
We'll see Jihoon back on the Hammond, but instantly deleted as well, the Mei there, as well as the Ana, to make sure that he can't contest.
Yeah, LGD even have had Immortality Field up this whole time, so they actually can't die. It was right onto the cart. So despite overtime taking a long time, they finished the map. As we bring back our expert analyst, Nekkra, that didn't look too impressive at the start, but LGD picked it back up. I think you're muted.
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 I knew I was going to make that mistake at some point in my life, and it was today. But honestly, what I was saying is Bubble Burster Gaming was really risky to get that hog in there, locked into defense, and Rookie's insane. So I don't know how you want to toss that matchup too, but I think that Rookie's really hitting the shots there, and even having to flex onto the Roadhog has looked phenomenal. So impressed with what has been coming out here from both of these teams so far, but LGD Gaming really giving Bubble Burster Gaming a run for their money right now. Still have a little bit of time left in the bank.
Yeah, I think a big pivotal moment there for LGD was Juan Lee finding value again with the walls, with the freezes, and being able to actually get that Blizzard down and allow his team to solidify those kills.
So we will be heading into the second attack. I think that, like Nekkra said, there was a little bit of time remaining, so that is good, but finally they carried some momentum. They got stuck on the point until last 10 seconds, and then point B, it took them felt like a million fights to get even halfway. So at least Nekkra did point out the halt hooks were working out eventually. Rookie looking good, but the snipers from Bubble Burster Gaming were something we were concerned about. But we'll see if they want to lock in 2 or just 1. Seems like Climax will be the only sniper.
Yeah, so we will see Tuba matching here on the Mei. Best way to counter a Mei? Another Mei. So that's what we're getting right now out of Bubble Burster Gaming, and the halt hooks coming out.
It's a good fortify there. To not make those mistakes. Keeping that for those. as you also have to worry about a Biotic. I like the honor from LGD because that can also be a good counter against a Roadhog or Kodalis with some headshots. It's also pretty sick. It's been the guy, kind of like the MVP that a lot of our analysts at Broadcast GG have been talking about. He's sick. He's amazing. And look, another hook from Rookie. But still not over yet. Bubble Burster Gaming did find a few kills, but I don't think they're in a position to make a solid push.
So BBG at the moment, a minute down, but surrounding this point. LGD finally getting that kill on the Tuba. That's going to allow them to stabilize here and start going forward, finding the rest of the kills. But I think the biggest note is that LGD winning this fight solidly at this point, they're able to take so much time away from Bubble Burster.
Sorry, I mean to cut you off. I get a little scared when they get so aggressive like this. This is kind of like how Volskaya went. But now you have all the ultimates for LGD. This is going to be scary.
So Climax now taking up this high ground, making sure that he's going to shut down that stairwell. But there it is, already the investment from Wanli, and the wall coming down as well.
Yeah, good transcendence. So this Blizzard not going to be able to kill anyone with it. But still, Bubble Burster Gaming, Supercharger, they'll have Halt Dragon coming up. LGD taking safety inside the staircase, walking into the line of fire. Dragon not coming out yet from Bubble Burster. The Blizzard only freezing maybe some of the supports, but LGD don't have a shield now. Bubble Burster can set up. And as long as, okay, they said the Dragon to make sure those supports back there, whoever's back there, can't be annoying too much, as Bubble Burster Gaming will get the point.
And not only that, but they should claim some late kills here, or at least one onto Kodalis, and that's going to be important for them because now Kodalis has to set back up on point B. We see some swaps coming out as well as LGD. They need to get into position defensively, try to see if they can lock down this streets phase, but allowing BBG to actually send this cart through this archway, now, realistically speaking, LGD, they're only going to get 2 solid fights in this phase of the map. Otherwise, BBG can just walk it through.
Yeah, the Mei you can see is helping to protect against some of these halt hooks. I was gonna say I was looking forward to seeing that more, as there's so many different ways you can use the wall as protection against the halt hooks, just to slow down the fight type of protection too, or as a separator to go for more kills. But now, speaking of kills, you got amplification matrix for the attack. Immortality. LGD are pretty spread out right now, so Bubble Burster can take a side and go for one. Rookie goes for the hook, taking advantage of. Bubble Burster still in firm control, but there's no Orisas on the field, so whose DPS is going to thrive? There's a Blizzard on the field. Zihi can't jump high enough to dodge Wanli. Transcendence is used against Wanli to make sure that Zenyatta of A and B can't die. So Bubble Burster Gaming still not in this.
Yeah, and they're actually still kind of delaying a little bit here as well, where they really need to back up, make sure that they can get together soon. If Climax died there, that would have been really devastating for BBG in terms of their time bank. They need to make sure that they're going forward consistently and putting out that pressure constantly. Otherwise, LGD, they're just going to continue to get picks. I mean, if you're not taking these 6v6, Jihoon's his shield's going to break all the time.
And Matrix for the defense. A lot of damage. Bubble Burster Gaming, they're like, nope. Let's try this side. If it's not from door A, we'll try door B. Halt and hook catches the Orisa and the wall to make sure you secure that kill. Huge. And without a shield, Bubble Burster I don't think they want to risk it. There's so much damage and pick potential from LGD. If your Orisa's gone, so is your fight.
That was such a clean wall as well from Wanli, just continuing that, because not only does it isolate the Orisa, but it also saves from the counter hook that came out there as well. So we could have seen BBG turn that one around, but Wanli just coming in clutch yet again on this Mei pick. And you can see why LGD really wants Wanli in this roster basically every map. I mean, he is just really solid on this Mei, so they always have that to fall back on.
Let's have a Blizzard to fall back on. Oh, and a hook. Crazies. Eating his heart away, make sure he stays alive. There's a Blizzard Fire 4 from Bubble Burster Gaming, and it catches a bunch, and they're able to take advantage. LGD even countered Blizzard, but BBG got more value out of theirs.
So BBG should be able to win this fight, start pushing this forward. They've got 3 on cart. I guess they got 4 in a cart, but it's only benefiting from 3.
True.
Now, as they're just sitting this through, they need to get this payload around the corner set up so that they can make sure that they're able to deal with the choke point that LGD wants to go through. They're looking like they're going to pick that left doorway, but look at this. Secret, he's on the flank again.
Oh, actually a really good Halt Dragon, but a Transcendence to maintain this whole hog, to maintain the space that Crazies is making. Rookie's actually doing the same thing on the other side, but even better. LGD stabilizing their own Transcendence. And the later ultimates, the later bird gets the worm or something like that, but LGD clearly in control of this fight. But now another Blizzard Tuba. Now he's like, group up with me, Baptiste and May versus the world, and now a Blizzard from Wan Lee. This is insane, it's still back and forth. But it will be LGD who hold the defense as the dust clears in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was an aggressive use of the Blizzard from Tuba. They thought that they were going to be able to win that 2vx, but unfortunately, I think they forgot that Wan Lee was still in the mix. So he returned fire and actually kind of saved the day for LGD. 15 seconds now on the clock. That's it. LGD with a chance to shut this push down. And in the process, go up in the series for the second time.
We got a Hungry Dragon from Climax. He's more looking for picks and has to win this Hanzo duel too. It's 2 snipers versus 1. Kanalis is down. And a Dragon could be coming in from the flank. He also doesn't want to cost his team his life. Dragon right from behind as Bubble Burster pressure from the front. And there it is, point B just in time for them. Now they have a minute and a half to finish the map.
Zihi actually dropping in the window. The Amp Matrix able to help him just punch out so much damage in that last fight. And who said supports can't be lethal? BBG has something to say about that, Zihi specifically. So coming around this corner now, a minute left on the clock on this push. BBG need to go the distance, and ideally they need to do it with a little bit of time on the clock so that they have the ability to take 2 fights on their attack rather than the one that the 1 minute only would probably only permit them to have.
Shield broken from both sides. This might be a slow approach. LGD giving up a lot of space. Now they reposition their shield. They have a Dragon, pushes BBG back, and especially without Climax as their main shield breaker. Now going back, setting up their shield. Now they've lost A and B. About to lose Crazy's mech, just barely. Now they can run back to spawn. They don't want to waste any more time here.
So one last shot here for BBG. LGD could take this, and that's a big pick as well. Shutting down Climax, making sure that BBG are going to be desperate to get into position. They're not going to have the firepower to turn this corner and break that shield, allowing them to push forward onto the point safely. So this is going to be a dangerous adjustment for BBG, and they're going to have to take this next fight after it in overtime as well.
You got Wan Lee Blizzard. Oh, he even snipes Z. He only has Zen heals. He might be forced to use the Transcendence earlier if things go bad. Has to use it now. He almost got stunned out of it, actually. And there's Crazy self-destruct. It doesn't even phase LGD. They've used now everything. The Dragon right through BBG. A well-timed immortality. Zihi doing so much, doing everything he can, but LGD are just too strong. One last Blizzard. I mean, it's Tuba versus the world, but not making a loud enough sound against the defense of LGD, who will now lead the series 2-1.
So the second time now that they're taking the lead, this time match point. This is 1st to 3, so if we do see LGD going forward on the next map and taking it, that's it. They'll move to the semifinals, but BBG, they're still in this.
Bringing back our analyst Nekkra. LGD looking, maybe it's not about a strong offense, it's just about a better defense.
I think you're right about that one, and honestly, some of the greatest points that LGD were able to do is they took a page out of, honestly, Team CC's book, creating a lot of 1v1 fights, really disrupting the ability of LGD, of the other, Bubble Burster Gaming, yeah. the other team to actually push. So they had a lot of moments there on Bubble Burster Gaming where they just weren't able to approach the point as a unit. So want to take them back to basics a little bit here, because when they were doing the whole unit thing on that previous map of Volskaya, it worked out so much better for them. So Bubble Burster Gaming just needs to come back from this one. Funny that payload's working a little bit better for LGD in this case.
Yeah, I think something that I'm curious to find out as well is that LGD, they looked great actually incorporating Kadalis into this lineup here for this map, and we really only saw him on the Hanzo throughout this. We saw a couple times how he did pull out the Widowmaker, did look solid on that, but Climax, again, that 50-50 that you're seeing here, Climax still able to shine, and Kadalis forced to swap off a couple of times just to get something a little bit better in the form of the Hanzo.
There was 2 snipers. Ha! I wasn't imagining things. Anyway, I just wanted that satisfaction. It is 2-1 for LGD. We're going to be heading to a quick break, and when we get back, there will be another map. See you soon. It's match point for LGD, up 2-1. See if they can close this out. The next map coming up is Rialto. But I mean, Bubble Burster Gaming have done the adjustments that we were hoping to see after Nepal, and I'm pretty happy with them.
Yeah, I mean, Bubble Burster, this is a big dynamic shift, and the way that they approach their game plan, their strategy is completely changed now. They're playing a lot slower. They're kind of forced to play a lot slower. They're also playing off of that halt hook combination as well, that this is kind of something that's a little bit newer to them. We've seen them pull crazies out on that Roadhog a few times alongside Jihoon on the Orisa, but overall, this is definitely a big shift for Bubble Burster Gaming. To see them perform at the level of LGD, who's one of the top teams coming into playoffs, expected to do well in the 2-2-2, I think is definitely respectable here for BBG.
Now a substitution coming in for LGD, Tanshio. I've had to practice this so many times. Tanshio will be coming in for the main tank role for LGD. So Melon, there we go. Yeah, Melon, which I think had a hot and cold performance on Hollywood, missed a couple fortifies and got hooked in early. So I wonder what the thought is going into Rialto, if they're looking for him as the Hammond, or maybe something else that he specializes in that Melon can't provide.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, LGD, lately they've really relied on Melon, particularly as they were starting to gravitate more towards the Orisa pick over the course of the last few weeks of the regular season. Tancho, we saw him quite a bit at the beginning of the season. We obviously also saw him last season. And now I think bringing him into the mix here, I think is just trying to change up the dynamic either on the Orisa pick or perhaps incorporating something new. Yes, Hammond is an option that I'm not sure that LGD would actually want to go with. The thing that I'm concerned about is if LGD actually wants to play a Reinhardt here, which is straight up, in my opinion, not the play to go for if you are playing on Rialto against an Orisa Hog combination that has actually started to kind of smooth out. BBG is who I'm talking about, of course. Jihoon Crazies really looking pretty solid on that, and playing a Reinhardt into that would be concerning to say the least. So I think LGD, I think they're just changing up the synergy aspect of things here with Tancho. Probably still going to play the Orisa alongside Rookie on that Diva or the Hawk.
Yeah, maybe it's just the synergy. We've seen some pretty nice halt hooks, but maybe there's something they've been practicing. And then there's a lot of players that specialize in map for escorts, which Rialto has been Bubble Burster Gaming's choice to bring us here. That means LGD most likely chose to defend first, as the overlay will reveal the secret. But you're seeing nothing that's a secret. Well, there's a player named Secret, but I'm talking about the halt hook combination for the attack.
All right, there it is. The Orisa saved. Everybody take a breath. Fine. Everything's golden. No Reinhardt. We're fine. LGD still in this. So now we'll see the double sniper in play though. Tuba actually on the Pharah. Loved watching Tuba on Pharah over in Korea Contenders. Now have a chance to actually cast him in China as well. We've been missing him, especially on this pick of the Pharah.
But Hoyo-chan's actually to the right there. If he's not careful, he'll be away from the rest of the team. And he gets halted in. I didn't get to see the ending of that story. But still, Bubble Burster Gaming have not only lost our Mercy, but their main sniper. And this is where someone like Kadalis, not only popping heads, by the way, he's going to have a lot more space to take multiple angles. It's going to be harder for Bubble Burster Gaming to get that information to where the defense is setting up.
Tuba's going to have a hard time here for sure. Needs to find those angles. On the attack, he has to force the angles. Certainly on defense, he would be a little bit more safe and taking a lot of these sight lines, but given the fact that he has to aggressively take angles, Kadalis can shut him out completely, so has to be on the lookout for that.
This is a tough spot to be dragoned in. Yeah, that's a verb. But Bubble Burster already kind of not winning the sniper duels, and again, that's more of the preferable positioning of the defense. Climax kind of stuck to either the right hallway or mid. But as I was saying, Wanli has a dragon, and Bubble Burster are still funneling through this main corridor. Now giving them a little bit of space, ready for them to just jump into this dragon. But meanwhile, Tuba's also creating some havoc. Oh, the snipe! Kadala still finds that. Still, Bubble Burster now lost her Pharmacy and Orisa, so we'll wait this one out too.
And this has really been a struggle for Bubble Burster, especially now that they lose Crazies here. Everything's going to crumble at this point, even with Jihoon coming up from respawn. They're retaking the bridge, but they're just struggling to get around this corner. And LGD, they have everything available, all 6 ultimates up and online, and yet another combination coming out. Tancho and Rookie look really solid together, actually.
You can see they're also keeping an eye on Tuba, and Kadala is able to hit a far kind of mid-jump. It's pretty cool, but won't be able to have as much freedom with that Mercy gone for the moment. This has been quite some time, and not a lot of pick potential has come from Bubble Burster. A lot of ults and hooks, but the Fortify has kept anything from following through.
So Kadalis now just so safe in this backline. Wanli able to just push out that damage because Bubble Burster, they don't have the D.Va. So as they turn these corners, as they drop that shield, that's all the defense that they have available. And they're really just getting tossed all over the place by these halt hook combinations as well from LGD. It's very difficult for them to take space.
Transcendence used to save Tancho. He was only half health, everything's cool. They have so many ultimates, it's almost at the point where you want to use it because it's been bothering you. You've been having it for so long. But now shield's broken for LGD. Secret, down. You only have heals from Hoya-chan on this Baptiste. Bubble Burster finally getting some room, but Kadalis read him like a book, or at least found Tuba before resurrected back into the fight. This is finally some momentum we've been liking to see from Bubble Burster Gaming. Looking down at point A. Shield about to break from Tancho. I don't think they really have a recontest.
Yeah, not at all. And even if they do, they'll be met with the barrage from Tuba. So wouldn't have been a good look for them at all. You see Kadalis, ooh, actually going to be able to get the kill there by going airborne, making it very difficult for the Pharah to actually follow up, get those direct hits on him. Despite that, though, BBG still sending this payload across the bridge safely. And LGD will have to go ahead and go back to respawn. Have to wonder if they actually want to make any kind of swaps. I mean, Kadalis still on this Widowmaker does make some sense here, as he does want to pressure out Tuba, but oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Well, yeah, the Mercy helped. The Mercy from the defense helps. Now you have some forgiveness if Climax keeps getting these picks. But Tuba, he's kind of like that JWJ that likes playing far into double sniper, and he has zero fear. But without a shield, Bubble Bursts are going to have a lot of fear. You need the shield to stand behind. You need that kind of safety zone if things get a little bit bad. You have somewhere to fall back on. But now they've lost a lot of room that they've been building towards. They have to work towards getting control of this building again.
And now Kadalis here, still playing off of this corner. You're going to see Climax with the Infrasight trying to extend past, trying to get an angle, try to find some kind of pick, open things up for his team, but it's so difficult. As you're so close to everything, they definitely could pressure you very easily. Finally does get the kill on Wanli there.
It's a good start. Could be actually Resible. There is a shield. There it is, going for it. But following up, oh, there's a barrage onto the supports. No, it's R-rated. You don't get to see it. They even got a nano. Super helpful. Now Bubble Burster Gaming. Point B right around the corner.
Yeah, huge investment on that one. I do like, well, LGD, I was going to say, I like that they're bringing in the D.Va. That's going to help them against Tuba, and they can kind of just get away from that halt hook combination and just really win out the shield war. But that's not going to be the case here. Kadalis winning that duel against Climax. It seems like that 50-50 isn't exactly a 50-50 at this point.
Oh, you just hooked someone in. Bubble Burster still, not only have they have the reses, but they have the picks. Keep going in. I think the nano is given to the Orisa, just trying to hold some kind of front line, slow down the pace of this game. Bubble Burster have won now a few fights in a row, taking care of Rookie, who is in front of the shield, not throwing that one far enough, but still supercharger advantage no longer. Tancho now trying to run, make sure that shield is up, as Bubble Burster Gaming coming in like a storm at the end of C.
Oh, that's a big sleep onto Crazies. They need to get that kill. They do actually freeze him up. So LGD with the 6v5 advantage here. And Kadalis almost getting that kill on the Climax. That would have been it. The fight would have been dead.
Actually gets res back in. Now you have your full 6 ready for this fight. You have the ultimates. We got Nano Tuba again. I mean, they've done it before, but Crazy's gets hooked in again. He still goes for a barrage in the middle of 6 people. I think he still got slept. He still got 1, but now with Crazy's dead, that's the main shield breaker for the team besides Tuba. They're still getting kills. And now that you've killed the Mercy and Orisa, this is super winnable for Bubble Burster Gaming.
We have to see. Oh, we do see Kadalis actually diving in to touch, but he gets completely obliterated as he does. And BBG actually claiming that 3rd objective, going the distance, despite what started as a very good defense there for LGD.
Well, bringing back our analyst Nekkra in between rounds before we wait for the teams to be ready. That was a pretty solid start from the attack.
It was a solid start, and for LGD, they were relying on the strategy of using Kadalis' Widowmaker to contest up through point 2. But once they lost that foothold that they had, point 3 was a walk in the park there. And so I'm excited to see kind of what Bubble Burster Gaming can do with the momentum, maybe that confidence that they just got from that like that 3rd point push, because it looked really strong there. I just think that Widowmaker is something that LGD is relying on a little bit too much there.
Yeah, I think going into that final phase, I think you actually hit the nail on the head there, where we really did see a shift where Kadalis was looking very solid in those first 2 points, and then basically summing that up is just once you get to point 3, there's no more sightlines available, and Climax was able to get the advantage.
Yeah, we'll thank Nekkra, and we'll see her probably after this round or after the match. We'll see if this could be the end or if we're going to go into extra innings. I think they did finish with a time bank. And I was kind of a little bit worried when they lost Crazies earlier on. I wonder if that was a dead fight. But man, they really just carried fight after fight after fight. And like Nekkra said, it's like as soon as they got over their point A hurdle, it was just smooth sailing from there.
So now we do see those sides swap, and it looks like we will be seeing Kadalis back onto the Widow here for the attack. And again, it's going to be the halt hook on both sides, whereas BBG once again pulling Tuba back out onto that Pharah. And like I mentioned before, the defense should be a lot better of a look for Tuba on this Pharah pick. He doesn't have to aggressively take angles. He can hold them high up in the sky, make sure that Kadalis can't get the angle, and he can just lay in that pressure onto the shield, and they should get the advantage in that form.
Even on the offense, the guy still found angles. All right, we were just hyping him up. This is like the caster goes, oh, it's Resable though. And now you have the defense finding those picks as a sniper, but without an Orisa shield, I've beaten this death before, without a shield, you just use res, you can't get him back in. Now you have to hope your snipers can carry the rest of this. You are so vulnerable to these picks.
Yeah, as long as Climax can keep pressuring that front line, making sure that he can find angles to actually threaten Kadalis as well, then Tuba should be a lot safer. He doesn't even have to win the duel as long as he's putting pressure onto Kadalis or forcing his attention to go to him instead, then Tuba can pop off.
Now setting up the shield right at the end of point A. This has been much smoother for LGD compared to Bubble Burster Gaming's attack, and it's kind of one of those things that once you start winning fights, you never stop. And look, they've just taken this easily. Oh, a big biotic. Doesn't really slow them down. Maybe that sleep well. But now you have Kadalis having sights over everyone. And if they take this high ground, it's going to be tough for Bubble Burster to just halt all this energy from them.
Yeah, split open by that front line. Tancho and Rookie looking solid. You have to wonder why we didn't see Tancho before, right? I mean, Melon didn't look bad, but Tancho and Rookie look phenomenal together so far. Their halt hooks have been really solid and have really provided them with quite a bit of stability here behind the shield.
Behind the shield, Tancho is so low, and you have Tuba who's just about to finish it off. Rookie gets biotic grenade, and there is the Transcendence trying to help them through the barrage. Still, I think even Dragon's being thrown into that other chaos. LGD still at the number advantage, just have to deal with Climax, who's gonna hop on out of there. And now LGD can just set up for holding point B.
This time bank is insane though for LGD.
Yeah.
You have to think that this has to be it for them if they're able to get a good time bank and then get that overtime push going. But Tuba on the Tracer.
What is the counter to a Widow? Just a Nano Tracer. Over. Doesn't want to get too close to a Roadhog or a halt from an Orisa. So just enough to get that pick, slow things down.
Unfortunately for him, he's going back to swap to the Pharah, and in the meantime, LGD are just taking all of that ground back that he was able to create for his team. So he literally went out to the fight. He was like, all right, team, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna swap, it's all good. He comes back, where's my team? Where'd everybody go?
It's like the Tuxedo Mask. He's like, my job is done here. And he's like, wait, but the fight's not over. And then, unfortunately, although that pick was sick, again, fight lost, LGD, unstoppable so far.
What do you mean we lost that fight? Well, Tuba now onto the Mei here, trying to lock things down. And I like these swaps now from Bubble Burster. This is an issue I think we saw from LGD, is not making the adjustment to slow this payload progress, especially when LGD has momentum now. They're really going to rely on that Mei to be able to lock this point down just a bit, create isolation with the walls as well.
A bit of a space made from that dragon. Now you're looking at the whole hog to break the shield from Bubble Burster, but already losing one support, and now Wan Lee. This is tough for LGD. At least Bubble Burster have won a fight here, and this is the best place to hold it. You got closer respawns, and you have a fortress. You have walls to protect you.
So LGD with 4 minutes to play with at the moment. We're seeing some swaps coming out for them. Mei Reaper actually being employed here, and typically I think you would probably see the Moira pick alongside this, given what we see out of Bubble Burster Gaming, especially given that there's no Diva in the mix as well. I mean, you could just literally play Moira for free at the moment, but Transcendence at the moment available, so do you want to keep that Zenyatta in play for now? We'll see what kind of value they can get out of it.
I need the Lucio for the speed, but holding on to that Transcendence, jumps right on in, heals this team. This is how LGD play aggressive, but now they're walking into an Amp Matrix from Bubble Burster. Also a whole hog from Crazies with a Nano coming up. If LGD don't win this here, they might just get pushed back.
Well, we do see Kadalis exposing himself a little bit to Climax on that side and still just trying to sustain himself.
So much healing is trying to come out and save Kadalis. He almost has a second life, but Blizzard gonna zone off this cart. Mostly everyone able to hop on out that winter storm. Still tons of time left for LGD. They can try different compositions, and they can have several rounds of ults. With a bit of an advantage now, they've taken care of the DPS of Bubble Burster. You can see the whole hog not only crushing that shield, but crushing the reinforcements trying to come into their base.
2.5 minutes remaining. Blizzard almost available here for Wan Lee. Bubble Burster without a defensive ult to keep them alive. They really got to basically just dive in onto that immortality field.
Oh, Blizzard now this time from LGD. It's pretty far back too, so this is going to catch a lot. It's a nice, well-timed immortality, but doesn't actually last long enough to save anyone. As an Orisa, there's Jihoon stalling that. There's no Mei. There's nothing left from BBG, and this is still a significant time bank, but only a 1-minute advantage. So at least Bubble Burster Gaming held a solid enough defense at the end.
Yeah, I really like that adaptation being made by LGD this time around. We saw on defense, they fell victim to that 3rd point momentum push that came from BBG. Now when sides flip, we see LGD making that quick swap, making sure that they have the best possible chance of getting in there with a decent time, and that's exactly what we got. The Mei Reaper pick was so smart from LGD.
It's kind of like deja vu from last series, where when you had issues with the double sniper, instead of trying to win the duel, you just go far, which seems like the most counter logic thing to do. But the way that Tuba, kind of like JWJ, was able to play out a line of sight, put pressure behind the shield, just literally float above them, I think worked out. I think he could have stuck with it longer, and then the Tracer thing kind of happened, which lost them some space, but I'm pretty impressed with the series so far.
I think Kadalis was actually doing a pretty good job of shutting that down. I think Climax needed to do a little bit more, probably aggressively position himself a little bit better so that he was able to actually put pressure on Kadalis, or at least steal focus away, steal attention away from Tuba on the far pick, because Tuba was just under so much duress throughout that first point especially. And at that point, they had lost so much momentum that holding the corner was out of the question.
Remember, this is still match point. LGD take this map, they will advance into the semifinal to face Team CC. But Bubble Burster Gaming, they still have a chance to force the game 5, and they only have a minute now to get as far as they can with this payload, and going with the Widow Pharah on the attack.
All or nothing now. Gotta go further than LGD if you want to stay in this matchup, force it to the game 5. We've already had one. We are 1 for 1 on those, but now Crazy is taken down, but Tuba popping off.
Oh, and Canales is trying to hit a shot, but 2. And then you have no Orisa for the defense, so there's going to be a lot of space given up. All the way at the end of point A is where they're going to try and stabilize, but Tuba's playing really aggressive, and he can even stagger these guys more.
Well, he needs to get away, though. Canales has that free sightline on him. They're going for the res. Hashtag resable. Get him back in there, but Canales still landing those shots.
Oh, Kadalas was just one sneeze away from dropping. Couple seconds left. Bubble Burster Gaming don't have Climax. They just used Res 2, I believe, and Orisa. Oh, it's out! Jahoon! No shield for Bubble Burster Gaming. They would like to have point A. This is still pretty far for the time they had. But still falling apart. Even Juan Lee is taking care of the supports. The Deadeye. Oh, don't do it to him! LGD, hold on.
Able to get the stop there on point A. This sets up things very nicely for LGD. However, still very winnable for BBG. That first point is very difficult to get through. And now I'm curious to see what Tuba does here. Does he bring back that Pharah? How do we, if that is the case, how do we see Climax actually adapt to try to create more open space, more open territory for Tuba to kind of exist in, where Kadalis can't set up on bridge and snipe him down off of that angle that Tuba wants to sit at?
Yeah, it's like these hero plays, like Tuba, that 2K just bought them almost towards to the end of point A, and because he overextended over the roof instead of play safe, he got sniped, and then there's Kadalis kind of having so much freedom into the back, not getting pressured from rockets in his forehead. So, again, very winnable. You have, I think it was only a minute extra advantage, where Rialto, a lot of the times we've seen it held at that for the whole time bank, let alone just 2 minutes.
Yeah, that first corner is going to be lockdown city for BBG right now if they want any chance, any shot at being able to hold this. So that first corner basically opening up into the open courtyard of this first area here right before the point. I think really BBG want to allow LGD to cross that bridge, get in through that first corner, then come around into that second one where the whole point opens up. Then you can really allow Climax to pop off, put some pressure down onto Kadalis, make sure that he's pulling attention away from the snipers of LGD, and then Tuba can focus all of his attention on really putting pressure down onto that front line, really putting stress on the shield, and making sure that Tancho and Rookie aren't free to land those halt hook combos.
Ooh. Got the body shot. Not the headshot he was looking for, but also a difference. The Zen and Ana. A and B can just completely cancel Rookie when these halts come in, and kind of just like I said, I've called it. I'm like a fortune teller or something. Rookie deleted from the attack. At least you have some forgiveness here. Oh, not for this guy too. The hooks have been crazy. Oh God, I made the pun. Sorry.
Well,
I didn't even mean it that time.
This is what we wanted to see out of BBG though. Climax was far more aggressive in that first fight. We saw just as LGD crossed the bridge with the payload, Climax was already at 60% ult charge towards Inforsight. So he was landing those headshots, making sure that he was putting pressure down onto LGD, making sure that they didn't have free space and free ability to actually look for Tuba even to begin with.
Kadalis was like gonna make his own line of sight, just grappling over buildings like Spider-Man. But the Halt and Hooks is what's gonna matter for LGD. They need to shut down this fight in quick, only 1 minute. And if you start losing people, as you can see LGD taking a few different angles, you see towards the left side, but Tuba is be playing away from these snipers, so much pressure onto the shield, almost finished off the Orisa for free. LGD just need to like maybe focus on this Am Matrix to get these picks.
Oh, that's when things become so difficult. That halt setup, just yoinking them in. Now BBG holding it on that corner. It's just so difficult to get around it. If you're not able to put pressure down onto Tuba and find that kill, then you are not getting through. You are not pushing that payload.
Final few seconds. Can Bubble Burster Gaming send us into a game 5? LGD, the yellow box of victory, or whatever color it is around the corner. The halt, the dragon. Oh, Tancho got so low. The rockets from Tuba. Now there's no shield for the offense. Bubble Burster are still not safe yet. They've lost a few of their own. Rez's safer for the defense. Tuba with a barrage. Wants to wait for the hook to go through it now. The sniper from Wan Lee is trying to pressure Tuba. He's looking around. He has to stay safe. And in overtime, LGD have to play perfect from here on out. And this is how you have your whole hog. Just push through, forcibly everyone back so you can get some progress. Mirage, very far above. Doesn't really break the shield, but it's the whole hog versus whole hog that might accidentally zone LGD off of the card. They have to be careful.
And all Bubble Burster wants to do here is continue destabilizing LGD, hold them low, especially their tank line. Then as soon as they're able to keep their tanks up, they go for the ultimates. A and B does have the nano boost available. Invest it into Crazies.
Oh, you have the raid boss, Brigitte, who Crazies is on this card with a nano. You can't kill him. But LGD still in this not for long. Climax and Tuba working perfectly in tandem on the defense to shut down everything LGD are throwing at them. They're still the front line, but no longer. Crazies pushes them back, and Bubble Burster Gaming will send us into a Game 5.
And the second one of 2 quarterfinals. We are now into yet another Game 5. I already mentioned it before. You know, we didn't expect it the first time around. We did expect it this time, though. LGD Bubble Burster going the distance.
Are you kidding me? Nekkra, are you kidding me? I can't believe Bubble Burster Gaming full held that point A.
Ooh, boy, do I have the tea for you.
I'm ready,
and my goodness, it was... LGD looked so strong for the majority of that map, where they were setting the pace of the fights. They were, you know, they rectified their last mistake on round 1 by switching to DPS in point 3 that were going to have more point presence. It felt like they had all the pieces falling together. They even had an extra minute in the time bank there, but hey, Bubble Burster Gaming, they were able to pop that bubble there for LGD, and they just showed us what it means to hold that frontline pressure there with that Orisa, that hog, the nano at the end. It was so exciting. I can't believe we're going to a map 5.
Yeah, I really liked what we got out of Climax and Tuba especially. I mean, they literally built their roster around these 2 players, and despite everything that Wan Lee and Kadalis tried to do, even here, it just wasn't enough. Climax and Tuba are just so solid. They adapted on that point A defense, and they looked so good in that OT defense.
Like, I can't even pick an MVP. Like, Crazies popped off, hit his hooks, and then you had Tuba who just deleted anyone who was behind that shield. So many MVP performances from Bubble Burster Gaming. Now we're going into Game 5, but before we get there, there will be a quick break. We'll see you guys soon. Welcome back, everybody. We have the Game 5 for our second quarterfinal, and we are so blessed, not only as casters, but for you guys at home, getting to watch 2 Game 5s in a row. The winner of this gets to face Team CC in the semis.
Yeah, really excited to be able to see who's able to actually force their way through, because it really has been a battle on all fronts so far between these 2 teams, and we were really surprised to see Light Gaming looking as solid as they did in their last matchup here. Bubble Burster Gaming really showing out that they're able to adapt to a really big shift in what they're comfortable with and what they've been comfortable with over the course of the regular season.
And our final map to decide who will be moving on will be Busan. And this is where we kind of, maybe this is favoring Tuba's Pharah, maybe not on certain maps, but surely on Sanctuary. This is Pharah's Paradise. And I wonder if the double sniper will still, for Bubble Burster Gaming, will still lend to being useful on Busan coming up.
Yeah, and I'm also curious if they actually pull Kadalis in this and actually put Kaneki back in. I mean, when we do go over to control, especially if you do want to play May Reaper, as we have seen a couple of times pulled out, especially from LGD, I would expect that they actually do want to pull Kadalis in this matchup. And speak of the devil, looking over at it right now, Kaneki actually subbing in for Kadalis. So they actually are going to be pulling Kadalis, reincorporating Kaneki, the original DPS duo for LGD, playing in this map 5 with everything on the line. They're pulling Kadalis.
And Melon too is coming back for Tanshio. We only got to see him shine bright for the 1 map, and the 1 map that they lost, or at least 2 of them actually. So it's okay. You're going back to maybe what worked at the start. And Game 5, your substitutions, we'll see how those will land. Where I was kind of excited for Kaneki on that first control when he was running that Reaper, worked out well.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect to see, you know, May Reaper, certainly. I really think that LGD want to lean on the May as much as possible, especially here. I mean, downtown Mecha Base in particular, I think that would be really strong maps for them to pull that out, because not only can they utilize that May in a lot of the different ways that we typically, you know, always talk about, you know, the walls, making sure the ice blocks, the blizzards, all that comes into play. But also, May is really solid without having that damage fall off, because her right clicks, her icicles are projectiles. She doesn't have the damage fall off. She can contest the Widow pretty well, especially if you're winning out those shield trades. If you're winning out that frontline duel, May can do that safely from afar and just spam away. And it really puts pressure on the Widow, where at Climax, I don't think he's going to be able to play that too much here, if at all.
Well, it'll kind of depend what first point of Busan we're going into, because Mecha Base is going to play way differently than Sanctuary, where I was saying maybe the fire won't pop maybe as much on Mecha Base. We already said that that's just not a good pick. Low ceilings, way too open, Sniper's Paradise. But we'll be heading into that shortly. We'll see if LGD substitutions will be playing into their hands perfectly.
So dipping into Busan, and actually the first one that we're going to be getting in the cards here is going to be Sanctuary. So May Reaper back in play, and interestingly here, it's going to be met by a May and Climax actually on the McCree to try to deal with this.
This is good, getting that stun, but there's a halt, there's some walls, as LGD claiming a lot more space, going farther forward and taking angles. Again, it's the May and the Reaper kind of sticking to each other to freeze and also put the damage in. So you're gonna see a bit of a wall off there. First cap goes to LGD, kind of in front of the eyes of BBG, who could have walked farther forward to contest that. Now resetting up their shield, it's gonna be about breaking them down.
The wall goes down, and now we see the rotation being made by Kaneki, but he's kind of exposed on that left side. Climax popping off, but the Blizzard already out for two, but how do you already get it?
Well, that is close, but everyone just walked away from it on the other side of the drum. Shield is set up. A and B pressuring the backline coalescence, nice and healed up. The ultimates that BBG needed just in time, and they'll reclaim the point.
Still, LGD is so tough to actually force off the point when they can just basically walk at you for free. Bubble Burster just cannot do anything really about that. They have to wait for that pressure to come out. They have to basically force that defense matrix down so that Climax can just continue putting out the damage from farther away with that medium range McCree pick that he's got, also locking up with the stuns to enable those picks to come out.
Pretty good zoning tool of that Deadeye to just sit behind the shield, kind of cost some more time. And that's all Bubble Burster Gaming want to do, is waste time. They have control of the point. They can play this as slow as they want. Supercharger, big damage advantage for them. LGD already losing one lead, so you don't have that Blizzard as a winning condition. Now still, Bubble Burster Gaming in firm control, taking care of not only the front line, but Kaneki, who would maybe be their second winning condition. So it's not going to happen here.
Wan Lee ready to go with the Blizzard, but Tuba with his second online. Insane what he's been able to do. Just really aggressive as well on the May going forward, where you wouldn't expect him to be able to pull that off because of the May Reaper on the other side of things, but LGD has to play back a little bit further. Wan Lee and Kaneki do not want to get stunned out by the flashbang. If that happens, then they're going to rely on Rookie to have to save them.
Oh, Blizzard right in. The Deadeye to zone him off. Has to ice block early. The barrier too. Ton of ultimates being used from LGD. Almost every single one except the Death Blossom. I think the Nano was even given to him. And the kills. You don't even need the Death Blossom. You're pulling this off perfectly fine. You've even gotten a ton of ults out of BBG. But they're still stalling this to 80+%. Still a danger zone for LGD as they retake.
But now in control of the point once again here. This is where Bubble Burster needs to really rely on Climax in a big way, especially when they're down in economy here. We see LGD at the moment ready to invest this Death Blossom. Everything's going to come down to Crazy's ability to deal with that, or for Zihi to actually boop it away. Flashbang to set it up. LGD, I think Rookie really wants to stick with Kaneki in this next fight, actually.
Secret's getting a ton of ult charge too. Used Nano last fight, so Nano, Death Blossom could be the combination they're looking for. Or Rookie even helping. Oh, nice snipe from Wan Lee. This is a big advantage now for LGD. Pushing Bubble Burster back. They even use the Maywall to protect themselves, so slowing things down.
LGD going to be equalizing here. And if LGD wins this next fight and they have the Blizzard to help them do it now, on top of everything else that they have, I mean, could even invest onto Kaneki with the nano boost, and that could easily shut things down. BBG, I don't think the Coalescence is simply enough.
Getting into last fight territory. This is, someone has to win it here. Kaneki is so aggressive, looking for the Death Blossom. He's drained the Matrix, almost gets that Diva out of mech. For the kind of doing his own Beyblade motion there himself. Now getting back towards the point. This is the Death Blossom, just got a shield, or sorry, to break that shield. It's Coalescence almost on the offensive, pressuring the supports, while the Death Blossom at the front takes care of A and B, who is overextending. Big source of healing gone for BBG, and see how all the health pools drop. Everyone dropping, 99% for LGD. One last Blizzard for Tuba, but wasn't the setup they were looking for. So this round will end 100-85 for LGD.
And once LGD was in control with that May Reaper, again, it's just so hard to take it away from them. BBG struggled. They were fortunate the first time around. They were able to get some good plays off of Climax, specifically on that McCree, but not enough for the second time around. And again, yet another pull here. I mean, Busan all the way through would be a worry if you're not able to match the May Reaper. And here it looks like they're gonna at least give it a go. Climax now on the Reaper, and this is the full match straight through. LGD, I'm not sure that they're expecting this because they're not going for the Moira pick that you would expect to see in this matchup. Instead, they're also going for Wan Li actually on the Sombra here to start with, and no May at all.
Elusive Moira on BBG, a lot more common with these Reaper May setups, even in Overwatch League. But on it, at least you can try and deny some of those resources, and you have the Nano just for the more offensive power for LGD. With the Sombra, actually, instead of the May, this is going to be an interesting combination. Try and hack that Diva, or the EMP as a winning condition. Is that first control, I mean, Bubble Burster Gaming have really good area control of this point, and now they're pushing LGD back, almost could be halting them off the map if they wanted to, just breaking down the shield. There's the double boop, the double halt. Ooh, LGD playing way too close to that edge.
BBG able to claim first control. So this is a good move here for them, actually able to pull up that May Reaper. They have that, what you would consider to be kind of that meta composition at the moment. Everything on the board is exactly what you would like to see, especially for this point here. LGD, they swap Wan Li onto the May to match, but Secret, he's too close now to the Nano Boost to swap over to the Moira, so they're going to keep him on the Ana pick for now.
A and B, even in that last round, played so aggressive as a Moira too. Not Coalescence to help your team, Moira to just kill supports, which is winning condition in itself, but without your Blizzard, Bubble Burster Gaming losing their winning condition that they were relying on. Without a shield, not much else is going to happen either. But still climbing to 40-something%. Still a decent start for them.
Yeah, this is clean up now for LGD. They get the flip, and BBG not have to retake. But they've got the Blizzard. Tuba is just so solid when he gets those down. BBG, they're usually pretty good at converting kills off of the Blizzard, or so it seems so far. Obviously, we've seen a lot more of Wan Li's May than Tuba's, but this is BBG looking to retake, and they have to retake it.
A Nano, he's coming for you. At least the wall stopped him, only temporarily. But that was a very confident play from Kaneki to walk into such a small room, even with Death Blossom. But it'll be something he'll be focusing on as BBG be ready for their Blizzard, and Coalescence already starting to pressure LGD. It's Blizzard v Blizzard, but Tuba drops his first, and Kaneki with a Death Blossom into the back. No Moira. He's now Bubble Burster Gaming have to win this quick, and they do just that with the barrier advantage at the start. LGD use the lat, not able to hold on to that fight.
Yeah, good retake there, especially because you actually come out ahead in economy as well, and that's super important at this stage of the game, where yes, you may not have the sound barrier that Hoyochan is sporting right now. You may not have, you know, not too much time to wait to get a nano boost, but hey, you've got the stealth destruct. You can ward them off the point. You have point control. You have the setup with the May as well as the Death Blossom available to you as well. BBG should be able to sustain this fight for quite a long time.
Yeah, they could easily use Self-Destruct or Death Blossom to just make the space onto this point, probably why they're playing so farther back. But losing their Lucio, you have a bit of a speed disadvantage here. Hoyochan will be ready with the barrier. He drops it just in time for the Death Blossom that from Climax that came out. And LGD read this fight like a book. but BBG will stall us to 90-something%, so BBG will just have to win the next fight to send us into a round 3.
Yeah, this was all in the stall. However, at BBG, they were really relying on the fact that Tuba was going to have the Blizzard and perhaps Wanli wouldn't. Now, you have to wonder if they can make it all the way through. They did pull out the Death Blossom, or they pulled out Climax's Death Blossom in that fight, but BBG now getting aggressive, gonna have the Coalescence versus the Nano Boost investment here. Crazies needs to make sure that they utilize cooldowns off the back of the self-destruct so they can set up for that Blizzard.
Good pressure from this Coalescence. Nano Reaper is still terrifying, easily deals with his counterpart, but you have Tuba's Blizzard. That zones out the field, self-destruct to follow along with it, but no one's home. So that didn't have the value they were looking for, but Bubble Burster Gaming still in the number advantage, pushing forward, but they have to deal with Wanli into their backline. And everyone just got booped into rookie self-destruct. What a retake from LGD. Now at 87+%, they just need to stall a little bit more, and they will take the game 5.
Oh, but you have to deal with the Death Blossom, and you have to dive in while worrying about that. They should be able to touch, but it'll be at the final moments, and then Death Blossom will be available for Kaneki to pull out.
Oh, he's trapped! He's trapped! Oh no, Bubble Burster Gaming already down by 1. Now someone has to touch. They have a supercharger. Jihoon is deleted. LGD looking for more. One last Death Blossom. Flowers up this attack. This team of LGD standing tall in the game 5 in Busan. They will claim it and now go into semifinals against Team CC.
So what we expected to happen, which was LGD versus CC in the semifinal, it does happen, but not in any way the way that we expected. Game 5s all the way through our first day of the quarterfinals. We are just now starting playoffs, and already it's this exciting.
Nekkra, welcome back. And hopefully not the final time we see you, man. We've seen you so many times in these Game 5s. What did you think of Busan?
I think that Bubble Burster Gaming got a little overconfident, especially on that first map of Busan. We saw them blow all 6 ultimates right before LGD Gaming took back control of that point. And from there, I think they just lost their cool. Tried to make a little bit of an adjustment there that looked like it was working out for that first 50%. But then that Reaper kind of just stopped working. They got off of the ultimate rotation that they needed to be on, and LGD took it home.
Yeah, and that's, I think, why they pulled Kadalis there. They really wanted to invest into that May Reaper. And really, I think Kaneki and Wanli just look so good together. Wanli at the end as well, kind of showing off his ability to land those right clicks and make sure that he's able to push out damage, not just create isolations, not just set up kills, but also find some of his own as well.
But we saw a big difference also in the support choices. Nekkra, we saw an Ana, I believe, from LGD, and then we saw, I think, a Zenyatta from the other side. Did you think the Nano helped the offensive for LGD on Busan in particular?
The Nano helped a lot, and then you also mitigated all of that Transcendence healing from Bubble Burster Gaming. Throw those massive bio grenades in there, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Just makes it easy pickings for the offense for LGD. So they came back really strong. They made the counter picks that they needed to, and they were just one step ahead, setting the pace of every single fight in this match.
Yeah, I really also want to give a shout out to Secret as well. I mean, we saw him on the Zen, we saw him on the Ana. Really, really big plays from him. We even saw him on flanking routes that opened things up for them on a map like Hollywood. Without Secret in the mix, I think you put any other support in there and they are not confident enough to make that kind of play. And maybe, just maybe, that was just enough to allow LGD to take this one. Without Secret, they might not have.
And as we pull up the bracket, just so you guys can see